I want to talk a little about the misconceptions that have happened with the rise of female equality in society. I know, it's going to get spicy. But here's the reality, is that before we are accountants or doctors or lawyers or anything like that, we are biological animals with wants, needs, and desires. Now, I've been speaking and talking to and writing about dating and relationships for years, and the big thing that I've noticed is a lot of women express frustration with men who think that they no longer want to be romanced, they no longer want to be courted, they no longer want the man to be the man. And I'm telling you right now, the opposite is true. We have to find a separation between understanding that women have authority in the workplace, they are making as much, if not more, than men are. They are doing better when it comes to college graduations than men are. They are excelling socially. That's the facts. However, it's also the fact that when they get home from work, when they get home from the university, they don't necessarily want to be in a decision-making role anymore. Women still want men who are the man. They want men who will plan a date night. They want men who will do the romantic things that show them that we care. And a lot of times men are stepping back from these roles in relationships because they just assume that because somebody is a CEO or a CFO or whatever she is, that she doesn't want that anymore out of him. But just because she has a certain role in society doesn't mean that her biological makeup has changed. Just like yours don't, guys. This is still a matter of how we react and interact as human beings, as biological animals. We have a reality that we deal with every single day that drives us forward. And it has nothing to do with our level of education. It has nothing to do with what we do for work, how we pay the bills. It has everything to do with who we are as men and women. Because just because a woman is in charge from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, does not mean that she wants to be the one planning your date night. In fact, there is so many women out there who are by themselves frustrated that they don't get approached by men, they don't get asked out by men, they don't get pursued by men because of their position in society. So then what happens? We look at these women who are in these powerful positions, and most guys are not approaching them. Most men are not approaching them. So then they stay single. Then they get a little jaded. Then maybe they go out with their other friends from work who are also women for drinks afterwards. Now they're in groups of women, and now men look at that and they're even more intimidated because there's all these successful women together and they never get approached by anybody. And then it's a repeating cycle, and men just say, well, they wouldn't want me in the first place. It's like the fruit at the top of a tree. Because every guy is going to look up at that fruit and say, it's so high up, nobody has tried to go get it. When in reality, there's a clear path to it because nobody has tried to go get it. We need to stop assuming that just because somebody has a certain role in society or plays a certain part during the day, that they're a different person than they were before they took on that role. We need to stop being intimidated by education, stop being intimidated by financial success, stop being intimidated by a title, by a role, by a perceived value that has nothing to do with who a person is. Because most times, so many successful people are lonely, they are unfulfilled, they are unhappy, and this goes for men and women because they've prioritized their career over their personal happiness. And that's fine for a while. But eventually, if you notice, if you talk to enough people who have gone that route by themselves, they are waiting for someone to step up to the plate and show that they've got the confidence, they have the guts to actually look past all of that and see them as a human being. And that's what we're missing, I feel like, in many parts of society, because as we progress when it comes to equality, we progress when it comes to empowerment, we progress when it comes to opportunities for both men and women, as we elevate ourselves, as we ride with the tide, as our economy improves, as all these different things happen, there are more and more people who are focusing on career. They're focusing on these different things that are pulling them away from social constructs, that are pulling them away from going out for happy hour, because they don't have time, because they're working until 10 o'clock at night. There's so much of this happening with both men and women that we are separating ourselves from each other for the sake of what? So what we really need to do is pull back, look at the roots of who we are, look at the roots of our relationships, look at the roots of what makes us tick as men and women and human beings, and start connecting again beyond that. Because if you're out at an event, if you're on a dating app, sure, maybe it has somebody's, education level, maybe it has somebody's title at work or whatever. But are you really going to let that stop you from finding happiness? Are you really going to let that intimidate you to the point where you won't even say hello? If you see somebody in a grocery store, you don't know if they're a millionaire in sweatpants or somebody who just rented a suit for a job interview. You don't know, but you know that they're a human being who maybe you're interested in. So why let all of this get in the way of something that could be great? I really think we need to start separating the professional world from the personal world. We need to understand that men are still men, women are still women, and we want very similar things to what we wanted 50 or 60 or 70 or 200 years ago when it comes to relationships and compatibility. We just approach it in a different way these days. And I've never spoken to a woman, no matter how much of a staunch feminist she is, no matter how powerful she is, no matter how much she has done for herself in her own life, I've never spoken to a woman who said, yeah, I don't want guys to open the door. I don't want guys to pull out the chair. I don't want guys to be kind to me. I don't want guys to be romantic. They want that because when you take all that away, they're still a woman who appreciates romance. She appreciates a guy who takes initiative, and she appreciates a guy who is still the man in a relationship. So guys, we have to step up. We have to start being the person that we know that we're destined to be. We have to start doing what feels right to us. And there's going to be mixed feelings about this. I understand that, I know it. But I'm telling you, from years of experience, it does not matter. We can have chivalry and romance and all that, and social equality. We do not have to choose. But by acting in ways that polarize us, it's creating the illusion that we can only have one or the other, that we can only have successful, educated, powerful, authoritative women, or romance. It's just not true. But it's going to take a generation of men. It's going to take an entire subset of guys who stand up and see themselves as equals, who are not intimidated by women stepping up and stepping into their own power. It's going to take men who say, I respect and I see and I can recognize what you're doing over here, and I'm going to keep being me, and I'm going to keep approaching you as I would if it was 50 or 60 years ago and you didn't have this role in society. But until we do that, we're going to be creating a divide that cannot be bridged unless somebody else steps up and says, I see you, not for what you do, but for who you are. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.